Speaking of other educators, Bitstein, Marty, do you guys mind coming up? Give these two gentlemen a huge round of applause. I failed my Nakamoto Institute because I didn't really understand the iceberg until Mike Schmidt explained it to me. But everyone know who this guy is? Raise your hands. Good. For the 3 people that don't, Bitstein, you mind introducing yourself?
My name is Michael Goldstein, also known as Bitstein. I am the founder and president of the Satoshi Nakamoto Institute, a nonprofit dedicated to preserving and advancing Bitcoin knowledge. We've been online since 2013, sharing primary source literature from the cypherpunks, Austrian economics, and other relevant topics to understanding Bitcoin, as well as an archive of the public writings of Satoshi and our own economic analyses of Bitcoin.
We need you more than ever right now. Seriously. What's the website, by the way?
NakamotoInstitute.org.
If you got some sats, donate those sats. If you got some dollars, donate those dollars. If you have a roommate that has money, go take their money and then donate it to NakamotoInstitute.org. Marty, when did you start TFTC, and how long have you been writing your newsletter?
June 6th or June.
Oh wow, that's an exact date. Okay.
June 8th, 2017. So 8-year anniversary coming up in a few weeks here.
Huge round of applause for that. That's freaking awesome. Who subscribes to the Bitcoin Brief and Marty's rants? Okay, we need to get more hands up here for that, but that's awesome. It's honestly one of my favorite newsletters. Do you guys do a newsletter yet or no?
Not regularly.
Not regularly? Okay. I would subscribe, just to FYI.
Noted.
Besides shilling hats, which now you have on your website.
TFTCmerch.io.
No big deal. Why did you start a media company, and especially in Bitcoin?
Set out to start a media company on June 8th, 2017. I'd been into Bitcoin at that point for almost 5 years. My family and friends knew me as the Bitcoin guy. I talked about it incessantly.
You were Bitcoin Marty.
I was Bitcoin Marty, and
I wish I had friends like Marty. I was a fucking asshole that was just like talking shit about these guys. I'm like, guys, go get a real job. Don't play with your coins and all this other stuff. If I had just listened to him, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be Anyways, that's a rant. Sorry, keep going.
While you were partying,
listen to your crazy friends is what I'm trying to say.
This is how it goes. The bear market hits, they don't listen to you, and then so in June of 2017, the price was going up, and I was getting an incessant amount of calls, emails, text, asking from friends and family, asking me to teach them about Bitcoin. I said, you know what? I'm going to write this newsletter. You can learn a little bit about Bitcoin every day. So that's how it started. Started sharing the link on Twitter, and it took on a life of its own. As you alluded to, it wound up at Barstool Sports. Lewis Roberts is working in the room over there. I met him and said, hey, does Barstool want a Bitcoin writer? They're like, no. And newsletters are cool, but podcasts are cooler. You should start a podcast. And so that summer in 2017, we started brainstorming about what a Bitcoin podcast would be, and then launched that in the fall of 17. So took on a life of its own, and originally started to educate my friends and family about Bitcoin, but other people became attracted to the writing and the information. So we grew the media company, and it's been a pretty wild 8-year ride.
You and Matt have not missed one rabbit hole recap.
We missed one the first winter, but that's it. 7 years. We said we started a recap in 2018, but we've done every week except for one since 2018.
Wow. That's a freaking streak. Yeah, huge round of applause for that. And then you were on University of Texas's campus handing out flyers. Like if I had just gone to UT, the other UT, the Tennessee is I think the real UT. Wrong audience. Sorry. Wrong place. Hold on. Austin. UT Austin. But weren't you handing out flyers?
I think I did. I think I was passing out some paper wallets and no one wanted them. While you were partying, I was studying the blockchain.
He is literally the best follow on Twitter.
But yeah, no. So yeah, the story goes that back in 2012, I had started an economics reading group called the Mises Circle, and we were getting into the deep cuts of Ludwig von Mises and other Austrian economists. And later on, we found out about Bitcoin, and after that, we couldn't shut up about it. So it quickly became the Bitcoin Circle, and over time, this morphed into what I started as the Nakamoto Institute.
Yeah, and I cannot believe you were so passionate about it to even hand out these flyers. Like, what was it about Bitcoin at that time that just was the aha moment for you?
For me, I had already been a student of the Austrians and very much into wanting to return to a gold standard and the importance of sound money and all of that. Although it was very pessimistic because it was this assumption that the world just has to collapse and then everyone has to somehow also know that they should go back on gold after the fact. And so when Bitcoin came along, I was studying computer science. I've always been a techie. And so that brought those two together. And as soon as I understood that it was actually scarce, it was obvious that this was the next world reserve currency. Why would it not be? I came from a world where it was totally natural to be sharing files and existing on the internet. I've been on the internet since forever and very native to it. And so it was very natural that there would be an internet money once it showed up in a real form. Kind of seemed obvious. Some of that probably a bit of young man idealism, but it was also totally correct. So that's totally fine.
While you were partying, I was studying the blockchain. I mean, I'm going to go to bed thinking about that. One of the other things that we've been, so Jack Lesser, can you guys, that's Jack. Jack, raise your hand. Give that guy a huge round of applause. When we took over this project and passed the baton from the Commons to Park Austin, one of the things was around the meetups. And you guys have the density of developers, engineers, and entrepreneurs that are Bitcoiners here is amazing. And we started with like BitDevs, and we had Austin Bitcoin Club, and there was ABDC, a little just siloed out. Now with Jack's leadership, we got a Lit Devs, we got a ABDC, we got an Austin Bitcoin Club, and a BitDevs, and then now an AI meetup as well. And we may sprinkle in another one or two meetups. One of the ones I'm super bullish on is potentially a collaboration with you and the Nakamoto Institute. We want to talk about like some of the ideas around education and kind of what you're thinking about go forward with Nakamoto Institute for the audience.
Yeah, well, so I mean, there's many layers to it. Obviously, a lot of the website is dedicated towards primary source literature, but you have to be able to explain all of that stuff. Not everyone wants to read 900-page tomes on stuff on economics. So there's many layers of trying to communicate these ideas and get them across to people. But the important thing is we want to make sure that we're not the only ones who understand Bitcoin. Future generations also need to understand Bitcoin. So we need to have that educational infrastructure available to continue to teach the next generation so that, when they get handed Bitcoin keys with some, unchained inheritance or something like that.
Nice plug. Well done.
When they get that, they know why it's important that they hold their own keys, run their own node, why there's only 21 million. These are not trivial facts. These are essential facts that they need to understand, but that requires digging into all the things that all of us have dug into in order to understand this. So you have to meet people where they are. So some people want to dive into the archives and just read very source material, maybe think through the stuff themselves. Others want more downstream ideas that are made easier to comprehend. So with that, we have a lot of different educational initiatives we're working on. We've been doing the Reorg podcast, which is hosted with me and my co-founder Pierre Rochard, and we're discussing right now. We're going through a lot of our old blog posts and kind of giving it historical context and seeing how they held up to the present day. Mostly fantastic, but there are things that I think we could have explained better, and so on and so forth. And one of the other things that I do want to do is to start doing more public presentations because people seem to really like getting the lecture experience. And only so many people get to go to the University of Austin, so it makes sense to have one that's, lectures that are more broadly available to a global audience.
And I can't stress the importance of the work that Michael's doing, and Mike Schmidt, who was up here earlier, what you're doing at the Nakamoto Institute, what they're doing with Bitcoin OpTech. For me, I feel like I'm top of funnel for you guys. A great example is this week is your Huddle for Good presentation. For somebody who's probably trying to reach the normie, started the podcast at Barstool, really trying to reach the common man, make Bitcoin approachable. That's how I view our job at TFDC is let Goldstein do his job, let Mike Schmidt do his job, and then funnel people to the good content. Actually, I was just thinking about it while we're on stage. That presentation, Huddle for Good, was pretty meta because you were only able to basically put it together because you had the time to sit back and think about what hodling for good means.
That's a fair point, and I think we're going to be discussing it soon on your podcast. So
yes.
People can go listen to it or wait for the podcast version.
Like and subscribe and give these guys a huge round of applause. Thank you.
And donate to the Nakamoto Institute.
Yeah, 100%. Donate nakamotoinstitute.org.